Oh, you know how it is. Alright guys, yep, everything seems to be in some kind of order, although I am still in the process of figuring out how to get let me just turn the music up. Just a wee bit. So this is where I left off. So yeah, Sketch Jam is officially changing format going into 2026. I've got a few announcements to make regarding New Year's. I am doing a live stream on New Year's Eve because unlike last year when I was booked to work live just in the city, I'm not doing that this year. So truth be told, I'm kind of a bit relieved, because getting into the city is one thing, getting out of the city, like the CBD, once a fireworks display is done and dusted, can be one of the most fraught things I've ever experienced. Don't get me wrong, I love working New Year's. It's honestly one of the more interesting times of the year to be live and drawing caricatures and stuff, but this time around I'm not doing it. So this is going out mostly to my audience on the other side of the world, particularly in North America, Canada, now I do appreciate that it is in fact Christmas morning. Well, it's coming into Christmas morning. Hang on, let me check, what time is it? Time in LA. Okay, it's about 6 o'clock in the morning in Los Angeles. So we've got a lot of, if there's any early risers out there who are, on Twitch or YouTube, watching me live stream instead of opening presents from Santa Claus or whatever. I do appreciate your being with me on this wonderful Christmas morning. Being in Australia, I have already celebrated Christmas, and it was really good. Like, I have always loved Christmas, even as a kid. Like, it's always, top 10 favorite holidays of the year. It always beats it. Always. Like, I've had some relatively ordinary Christmases where, I've put in an order and not really gotten what I wanted. Of course, I didn't really ever see the connection between me being an absolute spoilt brat and not getting anywhere near what I wanted. Obviously, now that I'm a parent myself, Christmas has taken on an entirely new meaning. And I have become far less materialistic about the whole thing. Like, I think the consumerism's fine, but I now understand the thought process behind what's it called? Black Friday sales. I mean, obviously, everyone was sort of complaining about this year's Black Friday not being like previous years. People going, "Oh yeah, there's like hardly any sales. It's like it's not worth it." I'm just gonna do a quick sound check. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I can hear that. Pretty sure I can hear that. Yep, okay, cool. Anyway, we do actually have sound coming through. So yeah, as I was saying, you have this idea in your head about what you want to get as Christmas presents, and I've become like better at it over the years. You know what I mean? Like, I used to be pretty sort of indifferent about buying stuff, and this year, like, I always feel like I kind of get blindsided by Christmas and everything like that. It's just the reality of it, really. Let's have a look. What's her name? So yeah, I've just found like I now have a deeper and more uh, respectful appreciation for what they were trying to do when it comes to Black Friday. I was just like, look, these like consumers do actually need like an incentive to go out and pre-purchase a lot of these gifts and stuff like that, because even with like online shopping, there really hasn't been a huge decline in the foot traffic when it comes to Christmas shopping in like brick and mortar stores. Like it's obviously leveled out since the sort of like since the years when after like Temu and stuff sort of became a thing. Though I honestly don't think I've ever met anyone who sort of is really proud of buying stuff from Temu. It's a weird thing, like like you'll get people to go, oh yeah, I got this this shirt or this cool hat or whatever from Shein. Shein's basically the what's it called? Like the Temu of clothes. Shrink her down just a teeny bit. Yeah, so but you never really hear people bragging that they shop through Temu. It's always like, oh, well, where'd you get that? And I'll just say, oh, I just bought that online. And they will say, oh, no further discussion after that. Thank you. Thank you very much. I would rather not admit that I shop there. And like, there's really no shame in shopping at Temu and places like that. Like, if you need to, get your merch from somewhere, you may as well get it from there. So I got some quick announcement. Oh, I guess I can sort of drag it out a bit. I've got some quick-ish announcements. Like I said earlier, I will be going live on New Year's Eve. Unless I am working, because there is a small to moderately good chance that I'm actually booked for a New Year's Eve gig. It's happened before. I've been called up out of the blue. Someone's just last minute wants to book a live caricaturist, and all of a sudden I'm out. And I'm somewhere in the Sydney CBD. Doing my thing. The pens I ordered arrived on Christmas Eve, and I was very happy about that. So I've essentially got enough paper and pens to see me through pretty much for the first 6 months of 2026. Like, it's weird, ever since, the birth of my first child, I've become kind of more passionate about what I do, and at the same time, simultaneously way more tired. It's weird, like, then again, it could have something to do with my erratic sleep habits and coffee consumption, but I like to think that, I can blame it on other things. Hang on, let me just check something here real quick. So yeah, the character I started drawing last time I was live was wasn't this one. Well, it was Duke Nukem. Kind of made her arms a bit too short and her hips a bit too gigantic. So I'm just gonna reduce this down just a teeny bit. Expand that out. So yeah, the plan with 2026 is I'll be going live a little bit more. Hey mate, good to see ya. Yeah, it's been a long time. Merry Christmas. Try not to knock my top-down camera. So yeah, I am going to try to go live a little bit more frequently, if I can, So I sort of have this kind of thing going where I'm just like, thank you very much, I appreciate it. Keep losing my train of thought. Thanks, mate. Good to hear from you again after all this time. Yeah, it's just one of those things where I'm like, you know how people say, "Oh, this year's going to be my year" or whatever. I'm like, I'm never say that. I think it's like a little bit, it puts too much pressure on yourself. It's like, this year's not going to be my year. Like, no year has ever been my year. I've just always come out of every year just looking at the positives as much as possible. You know what I mean? Like, you just think, oh, look, I mean, a bunch of stuff happened to me, and I'm just going to focus on all the cool things, because that just makes sense. And I must admit that may have something to do, like having a positive outlook could be directly correlated, in my opinion, to not having like the best memory when it comes to like really like terrible things. You ever notice that you kind of like you sort of have a bit of an emotional reaction to something awful happening, but if it's not that bad, you just sort of have to give it time, and eventually it just kind of goes away. Like obviously there are things that I still look back on and just kind of cringe at. Like each year, you know what I mean? Like you just think, oh, okay, well that happened. That's why I like the whole year in review thing. Like for instance, I think I was complaining last time. Oh, thanks. Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to like grow this channel as best I can. I'm still pretty small fry here on YouTube. Like being a micro channel has its perks, you know. You can kind of experiment, see what works, practice the craft, so to speak. Yeah, I hope everybody in Australia, you know, especially if you're based in Sydney, um, I just hope you guys all had a wonderful, safe, and rewarding Christmas. Because man, the lead up to Christmas this year was a bit, how's it going? Like Aussies are definitely gonna have a whole new paradigm going into 2026. That's for sure. I am. Where am I? I'm streaming on Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. I used to stream on TikTok, but I don't do that very often because I find it tricky to figure out how that works. Oh yeah, I should mention that. Yeah, I'll be definitely getting back onto TikTok next year as well, with the live streams, that is. So I use my my streaming platform that I use is primarily Twitch, and I use Streamlabs to handle that part of it for me. It's good for multi-streaming. I do want to get back onto Kick, but I'm just not familiar enough with the platform. Yeah. So, yeah, the way it works is I can sort of do like this simulcast thing where I can go live on pretty much all of those platforms at the same time. It's a little bit technical. I'm not entirely sure how it works, but yeah, I've had a pretty good go of it. Like, I don't go live enough for it to be like a sort of a good side hustle as of yet, but I want that to change pretty soon. Yeah, I've always wanted to do like, yeah, you know, in that episode of The Simpsons, and this is showing my age, where Sideshow Bob tries to destroy all television, and there's like this one station, this emergency broadcasting station, and Krusty the Clown goes out and he just starts doing his own kind of one-man podcast thing out there. That's a bit how it feels like doing a live stream. When you're first starting out, because you kind of just go online and just think, there might be somebody out there watching, you know. Move this hand up just a teeny bit. Kind of made her arm a little bit too long there. Yeah, I'm thinking. Yeah, actually, good that you mentioned that. I'm actually thinking of doing something along those lines. Like, I've got a bunch of caricature, like famous like YouTuber caricatures that I want to do, because there's just some interesting looking people out there. Like, you know, what's his name, Jake Paul. He was recently in sports news. You know, he was in that boxing match, and like he made an absolute ton of money doing that. Like, you know, obviously he was a bit outmatched by the guy who was going against, but like, you know, those guys got paid. And they looked like they had an absolute blast, you know what I mean? So yeah, eventually, yeah, I do want to start sort of drawing some more famous people, and I think that's what I'll end up doing particularly going into 2026, that's for sure. So I've been playing this character pretty frequently. Like as far as what are they called? Like DPS heroes go, Vendetta's really cool. Because she's kind of like, what if Genji, like, just used his sword all the time? And what if Reinhardt, you know, was a fair bit faster, you know? So I get the impression that when it comes to developing new heroes for Overwatch, they're starting to run out of like really unique ideas for heroes. Like that's just my impression. Because you can only have so many like different variants before you start thinking, well, you know, we've got a character that does this, we've got a character that does that. And when you think, what's this game actually missing? And you know, it's obviously missing a few elements that, you know, some players are just like, hey, where's our PvE, dang it? Oh, for real? Oh no. Yeah, look, if they want to, you know, bring back the whole the booth, I would definitely consider it. I would definitely be like, you know what? Maybe we can make this work again. Maybe we can go back and, you know, get the retail caricature set up, you know, back and have that, you know, amazing, like, you know, man, like I have not worked there since the pandemic shut everything down. Like before that, I was there for like 12 years. It'd be great to do it. Like obviously I've worked there since like I've done jobs at Luna Park just as a contractor. Like I've you know been hired by, you know, various companies to just do their Christmas parties or whatever. All right. I don't know who that is, but yeah, if you can, I mean, I don't know who the bite. I don't know who Oscars is, but yeah, if they're keen to, you know, pitch the idea, because like I've got like, you know, I can easily just, you know, just say, hey, look, I've been there for like ages and stuff. Happy to come back. Um, as a regular, because the thing is, like I've got a crew of other cartoonists that work with me, so it won't just be me working there. It'll be like other caricaturists, you know, because I travel a fair bit now, so I won't be able to work there in the same capacity that I used to back when I first started, way back in 2008. Oh, okay. That's really cool. Yeah, look, if she's interested, yeah, that'd be great. I'd love to, chat, see what they say. I'm pretty sure my colleagues would be definitely interested in working live there too. Sort of bring back some of the old stuff. Because man, it's been a while, and I miss working there. You know, like there was so much like cool things happening like all the time. There was always some kind of live show, or there was always bookings and yeah, just working in entertainment in general. Like I've always been drawn to that. Yeah, that'd be great. Especially like over the holiday break, like that would be fantastic. Just to like see if they can like accommodate, like if the booth can still be used in some capacity like it used to, that would be fantastic. But last time I walked through there, they changed it completely. So I doubt that's going to be a possibility, at least in the short term. Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, what I can do essentially is just like I've worked live, um, sort of with a all I need is an easel, a couple of chairs, and like some kind of shade, like just like a cafe umbrella, and I can work pretty much anywhere, like outdoors, not a problem. And I love it. It's great, just like hanging out and drawing people, and yeah, just enjoying the summer. Because I miss that place. Lot of fond memories there. It's got that place. Luna Park, Sydney, has a lot of historical significance too. And yeah, that'd be fantastic if I can sort of like incorporate a triumphant return somewhere down the track, even if it's just temporary. Like hey, For a limited time only, come get drawn by the OG resident cartoonist from 2020 from 2008 to 2020 for a limited time only, you know. Like I think that'd be cool because I can sort of put on the drawings and stuff. It's like collector's edition. Thanks, I appreciate that. Yeah, look, I mean, I was because I was a contractor. I was never really um, privy to any of the politics or anything like that. I just went in, did my drawings. Like the only real members of staff that I really got talking to were like occasionally sometimes the clowns would come and sit, you know, and just say hi and everything. And it's interesting. I used to joke that I had clowns for co-workers. I mean, hopefully, you know, the reputation of clowns is sort of on the mend ever since people stopped regarding clowns as like super scary. Because I think after that Joker movie bombed, like that second one, the first one was actually pretty good. I got a whole lot of theories about the first Joker movie. Oh yeah, yeah. Like like I've told this story before, but when I first started over at Luna Park, I originally wanted to be like one, like not so much a clown, but one of the entertainment staff. And yeah, my audition did not win me that role. I just did not have the that ability. And I think what it came down to was dancing, like dancing in formation. It just was one of those things that was just outside my wheelhouse of skills. So I decided after that just to kind of funnel all my action points and character building into yeah, being an artist. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, like I don't really go to movies at the theater. Like it has to be a really sort of, you know, one of those historic kind of, this is going to be really cool, this is going to be totally worth it kind of movies. And the only one I've been to actually in theaters that I really enjoyed and was totally, you know, this was a great experience and a really good date movie was Wolverine Deadpool. That's the only one of in recent memory. that I totally loved watching in a actual theater. You know, with other people sort of crunching popcorn and looking at their phones and basically being a nuisance in the background. Like the only other one I saw after that was Beetlejuice 2, and I didn't get it. Like I get why people think that what's her name? That girl that plays Wednesday Addams. What's her name? Oh, what's her name? Let me check. Something Ortega. Something Ortega. Wednesday. Jenna Ortega. Yeah. So anyway, um, yeah, I get why people, like her as the sort of go-to goth girl, and honestly, having recently visited Japan, well, not like 2024, visiting Japan, like I just distinctly remember seeing an air hostess, like a girl that just worked at the airport. I think she was just there to, help people with their like book their with their tickets and everything. And she looked like a dead ringer for Jenna Ortega, but like a Japanese version. So I get it, but yeah, I just did not like the new Beetlejuice movie. I just thought it was really messy and convoluted. I think it had like too many stories going on at the same time. Yeah, yeah. Like that's how little television I watch these days. You know, even though I love Catherine Zeta-Jones in like Zorro and stuff, she was great in Chicago as well. Yeah, even having her on the show as Morticia just hasn't been enough to sell me on, really watching it. It's like I just don't have the time. Some people love it. Some people just go, "Oh wow, Wednesday's so cool." It's like, yeah, Wednesday was always cool. Wednesday was cool, back when Christina Ricci played her. Yeah, I mean, it just like I wanted to like this new Beetlejuice movie, and I think it was kind of a setup for Beetlejuice 3. Like, I think they kind of want to really sort of get back into this whole like expanded universe thing, but at the same time, I'm just like, yeah, I don't know. Like Michael Keaton was great, and I think he actually looks kind of better as an old, like sort of more decayed and weathered Beetlejuice than he did when he was a younger man playing the same character. Like, it wasn't all terrible. Like, I enjoyed most of it, but I just kept not really caring what these characters were and what their motivations were. It's like, okay, so there's this weird guy with a ponytail who's really obsessed with Winona Ryder's character, and for some reason they're gonna really focus on that guy that played the dad in the first movie, and it's gonna be animated because the actor that played that character was, well, less said about him the better. I mean, this is obviously not a true crime podcast, but if you need to do the research on that guy, who is another actor I cannot remember the name of. That's the other thing. Like, to people who are just finding out about Beetlejuice, who aren't who are just not familiar with the character before the sequel came out, they would just watch that movie and just think, what the hell am I watching? Like, this is sort of a mishmash of a teen drama and a soap opera and a murder mystery, and it just gets convoluted as hell. And for some reason, it featured Beetlejuice's backstory about how he became Beetlejuice. And I can't be alone here in thinking, we kind of preferred him when we didn't know that, I grew up with the the only other sort of Beetlejuice related stuff that I'd ever watched aside from the original movie was the Beetlejuice animated series, which I would posit was actually better than the movie as well. Although they got the because they didn't have the rights to certain character designs, they had to sort of do this weird workaround. Yeah. And there's just so many movies that you ever watch if you ever go on YouTube and you just watch reviews done by media critic channels and just think, is this person just bitter or are they trying to save me money? I can't tell, It's is this the opinion of a jilted fan, or someone who's just look, we are going through a cost of living crisis, and the less you spend on, entertaining yourself with Hollywood blockbusters, the better. So in a way, I kind of see what they do as a bit of a public service. But at the same time, I just can't help that nagging feeling that I'm missing out on some really brilliant movies. Then again, finding the time to go on movie dates, that just gets increasingly more more and more difficult the older I get. I barely had time for movie dates before, and now I definitely don't. Yeah, yeah. I mean, like those guys, like cynical though they might be, um, I genuinely think that their assessments of pretty much 90% of what they watch is pretty much right on the money. But then again, like nitpicking stuff to death is also not as helpful as one might think. You know, because there's some really talented people out there that have worked really hard on these movies. You know, it's not just like the director and the actors and the production company. It's everybody. Like just the amount of people involved in a single movie. You ever sit through the entirety of the credits? Like, I've done this several times and it's come to like Marvel movies because they always have the post credit scene. So you kind of, you're incentivized to, sit through the whole credits. And you just realize that you're sitting there in the dark watching more names than you've ever read in your entire life that are just associated with working on this one film. It's like, oh my god. They've got, they've got different production companies and different crews from different countries as well. Like these movies, they have to be financed. They have to be the locations have to be scouted. There's a lot that goes into them, and the kind of power that one guy, who wears sunglasses indoors, has over whether or not this movie does well or bombs entirely and gets forgotten is surprisingly like overpowered. And you're absolutely right. Like, there's a lot of stuff out there that's just why did they make this? Whose idea was this? What was the process, and why did it end up so god awful? Like, you might have seen the trailer for Animal Farm. They recently remade Animal Farm. And Andy Serkis, of all people, has reinterpreted the cautionary tale about communism into a weird, like, Zootopia style kids movie. And oh my god, it does not make sense. It's like if missing the point entirely of the original, like, tale was an Olympic sport, you know what I mean? Like the character designs of the various animals and stuff, they look okay. Nothing like too spectacular or anything. Like it's just it looks very like generic and everything. But just from this just from this trailer, it looks more like the Lorax than it does Animal Farm. Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about K-pop Demon Hunters. I have not seen it yet, but as recommendations go, yeah, yeah, I will actually sit down and watch that at some point. I've got a list of movies that I actually want to catch up on. Next year as well. Interestingly enough, speaking of things that I want to catch up on, I found a bunch of old video games that I grew up with, basically for almost nothing on Steam. So does anyone remember Command and Conquer? Because I found that I found not only the original game, like from I think like 1998 or something like that, or maybe even before then. I found all those games, like they made like a dozen or so, like, and they, everything from like this sort of weird alternate universe futuristic fantasy stuff to what if the Cold War was actually a fair fight between, the Allies and the Soviets. And, you know, all these old games like Command and Conquer and Command and Conquer Red Alert. Oh my god, that is some chef's kiss real time strategy. Like because that's the thing. I recently started playing Diablo 4 because you just think, oh, give this a shot, see what it's like, and for the life of me, I just can't get into it. I want to love this game. I'm a big Diablo fan. I grew up with the original Diablo. I love Diablo 2. It's still one of my, top 10 favorite games of all time. But my god, this version of Diablo, I want to love it, but I can't. It's like that episode of The Simpsons where he's in that eating contest with the guy at the steakhouse, and he's like, I see food in front of me, but I don't want to eat it. And that's obviously got more to do with the fact that, because humans are actually more wired to be carnivorous, that once we're satiated, we literally cannot force ourselves to eat any more, protein. But when it comes to games, especially like games where you can see the level of detail is just so perfect and right there in your face, and I'm just like, I don't like this, and I can't figure out why. Like I got it with the expansion, that has Mephisto and all that, and the Paladin and everything, and I'm like, yeah. Oh yeah. But yeah, I mean that like that sort of that top down isometric view, that is both the selling point and the worst part of the whole Diablo experience, because you can customize your characters. You can make them look really, really complicated and really kind of interesting and stuff. You can give them face tattoos, you can give them makeup, you can give them facial piercings, you can give a septum ring to your character, make them look like, they're not like other girls, for instance. You can do all that. The problem is, you've got this fixed top-down CCTV view of whatever you're playing as. So regardless of whether or not if you got a facial piercing, you'll never be able to see it because the character is always being viewed from the top. So from here down, they can't see anything, It's very, I I hate that because if there was one game that really would improve so much just by having the option of going into a first or even a third person view, it's the Diablo series. 1,000%. Like, you can zoom in, you can scroll in with the mouse wheel, but it's not the same. And occasionally you will get a different point of view, like the camera will pan around, or, you'll go, oh, you're going into this dungeon now, look what angle it's on. But it always snaps back to that, fixed CCTV view, and I just hate it. So that's kind of my long way of saying that sort of isometric gameplay I love in Command. That's it's one of the game. It's what I love about Command and Conquer. Because you just cannot see any of that detail because it's so granulated and pixely. Oh yeah, 100%, mate. Yeah. Oh, it's just like when you look at like old Blizzard versus current Blizzard, and you realize just how much we've lost just along the way. And don't get me wrong, like Blizzard games have improved vastly. Like I watch some of those the cinematics that they do with Diablo are breathtaking. It's like watching a movie. Like even that introduction of Lilith, where they have the priest or the monk or whatever, and you got these tomb raiders that are trying to break in, and they're being chased by demons and undead and whatnot. Like that looks like a legit like movie. And I love that kind of stuff. And even Overwatch, like, I get that it's called Overwatch 2 now, because reasons. But, even back in the day, they put a lot of effort into their cinematics. Like, they made these things look like Pixar, And to a degree, they kind of still do, but it's very rare. Like, they'll introduce a new character, and it will be like cell shaded. It'll look a little bit like what's that game? Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, there's something about like the style of game was really complemented the graphics at the time, and it doesn't quite translate to what we have now. Like, I can still play Diablo 2 no matter what. Because it's just a fun experience. Diablo 3 I also enjoyed. Yeah, Diablo 4 just could not really. Yeah, it hasn't been able to connect in the same way that those previous games have. Oh, it's getting a bit warm. Yeah, man, it's been hot as in Sydney over the last couple of days, and then the on Christmas Day, we just got this reprieve of just nice cool air. Oh yeah, dude, the music, the soundtrack of like Tristram, you know, that beautiful like just guitar solo. Oh my god, love it. Like they, I mean, it's a bit like that song old time rock and roll. It's like today's music ain't got the same soul. It's the same with video games. I really believe that bring back solid, like, can listen to this non-stop on repeat, or even what's the word I'm looking for, on shuffle. Bring back just listenable soundtracks. Like, one of the coolest things about the original StarCraft is just that soundtrack. It's very 90s. Like the instrumentals, it's very synth heavy. It's nostalgic, and at the same time, the Terrans sound like they're from Texas or whatever. The Zerg have their own kind of creepy alien vibe, like Alien the movie. And what's it? The Protoss have their own, like, it feels atmospheric when you listen to that. And there's power in music. Oh look, I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that AI just has this, like, presence. It'll always be a thing, but for some reason I've just got this idea about AI just not being like the world changing threat level that it's been played up to be. Like, I get that it's interesting. It can do some very cool stuff. Like, I use Grok, for instance, and it's great because it's kind of like having like a search, like a Google search that can sort of double as like a conversation. It's like, hey, the live chat's open and I'm just talking to the chat bot, and it says, oh, it's giving me all these facts and stuff. And it's a great. I mean, it sucks that I can nowhere near rely on my own memory and lived experience the way I once did. But at the same time, having like a little confirmation bias machine in my phone is fun. I just love that. I did not. I'll have to check that out. I mean, the thing about Grok as well, like it needs, like, it's pretty good, but like for the longest time I had to just keep reminding it that I'm not actually in the United States. There was things that just annoyed me about it. Eventually I figured out that I could just go into the settings and change the default to say, look, stop measuring stuff for me in Fahrenheit. I don't know what that means. Please just defer to the metric system, because I am in Australia. And the only time we use imperial measurements is when we're trying to impress women with how tall we are. You know, being 6'1" and tons of fun. Oh yeah, look, I mean, seeing what AI can produce in like a matter of seconds, and looking at what I can do in the same amount of time, it's just night and day. Like it sort of, it cheapens the whole thing, but at the same time, like, there's something about AI that makes it inherently worthless, if that makes sense. Like if you can have a, like, something on your phone that can just produce images non-stop, and it's only in exchange for the cost of electricity, or if you want to hire something that will basically do what I do as a caricaturist and just have it like a jukebox, then yeah, the whole thing just sort of becomes like a value, like a value less proposition. I mean, honestly, if it boils down to the fact that I have to pivot away from, you know, being a digital artist and just being a purely live, I'm drawing on paper with a pen and I'm sitting across from somebody and we're just having a chat about, you know, the weather and what they do for a living and stuff like that. If that's what it takes to compete with AI, then I'm already prepared for it. It's like I was working at a gig like a couple of weeks ago, and the guy there, he was running the photo booth. Like, you know, a lot of these companies, they'll hire me and they'll hire maybe a few other bits and pieces to keep the client entertained. So they'll have you know, a DJ. Sometimes I'll have a guy accompanying the DJ on a saxophone, which I find is bizarre, but that's another story. But yeah, he said he had the photo booth, and he goes to me, "Oh, I'm looking into getting an AI machine that does what you do." I'm just like, "Oh, intriguing." And yeah, it got me thinking, like, wow, yeah, there probably is, you know, something that is not unlike a photo booth, where you just go up, you stand in front of like an iPad, it takes your photo and it just magics up a caricature for you that it prints out, and, you know, and that honestly sounds futuristic and really cool in a sort of Black Mirror sort of way. And yeah, I'm just like, oh, thanks, mate. Thanks for the heads up. I mean, I didn't really have any other comeback for that, you know what I mean? It's sort of like, oh, yeah. I mean, I guess anybody can be replaced in that regard. But at the same time, like, yeah, if it's a bit like that monologue by the character Syndrome in the movie The Incredibles. It's like, you know, when everybody's super, no one will be. And yeah. I'm pretty sure we are. If we're not, definitely add me again, because yeah, I can add you. But yeah, if it's not there, like definitely send it through Messenger. I should be able to look at it there. Yeah, I'm fascinated with Sora. Like he can do some pretty crazy stuff. And what's it called? Mid Journey. Like Mid Journey is so freakishly, uncannily amazing at what it does. Like there's been sort of real moves to try and stop it. And as far as I know, they haven't been nearly as successful as people have been hoping. But yeah, like far out. There's some amazing things these various programs can do. Oh yeah, 100%. Like, and I think like having a genuine human doing the job gives the thing value in a way that like you can play music on, like, say for instance Spotify at your work party, but you know that something's important and somebody's like wealthy when they can hire like a string quartet to play the exact same music, or they can, you know, get a real live band to perform live. Like there is something about the democratization of AI that makes the real thing even more valuable. And I think that's what we're going to be seeing, because once that sort of bubble pops, when it comes to the tech sector, we're going to see like, yeah, just this sort of interesting like dynamic form where the rich and the poor are kind of divided into one uses AI for everything and one rarely uses AI because the genuine, like, made by human beings gives it like that sort of level above, like, you know. You can shop at Kmart or you can buy Louis Vuitton. Which there's honestly nothing wrong with shopping at Kmart. I shop at Kmart, I love it. But I have been on the Louis Vuitton website and I've seen like a, you know, a wallet for like nearly $1,000 or whatever, or even over $1,000, and just thought, yeah, yeah, when it has that sort of mark of quality. Oh, here we go. Now, let me check. Let me have a look at this. Oh, it's not letting me copy the link. I'll have to have a squiz at it after the live stream. But yeah, when it comes to AI, you know, you think, well, it's had this effect on culture in such a way that nothing like that has in recent memory. Like, you know, the trailer for the new Street Fighter movie, it looks like it was. It's not. It doesn't look like AI, but it looks like it was heavily inspired by AI. So there's that dynamic as well, you know. And there's actors in it that I recognize, and there's actors that I definitely don't. The fact that they got Andrew Schultz as Dan, I think is hilarious. Like, I used to hate Dan. He'd show up wearing his pink gi, and he'd throw out that tiny little Hadouken, and he'd start crying. But like, the older I get, he's a bit like the George Costanza of fighting game characters. I've just become like more and more like identifying. Like, I relate to Dan in Street Fighter more than I do like Ryu or Akuma, or even like, when they did the crossover games with like Marvel and stuff. And that's what I want to see, because we've had Street Fighter movies in the past. Like, I'm old enough to remember when they did the Street Fighter movie with Jean-Claude Van Damme as Guile, which was some of the best and worst casting I've ever seen in an action movie. Because if there's one thing that was pretty much agreed upon about the character of Guile, is he was American. Like, very, very American. Like, there's no denying that Guile is from the United States. Let's get the Belgian guy to play him. What? And like, I love Jean-Claude Van Damme. He's fantastic, even at his age. Like, how old is he? He'd be in his 70s at this point. Maybe he's in his late 60s. Jean-Claude Van Damme. Jean-Claude Camille Francois Van Varenberg. Far out. That's one heck of a name. He is, how old is he? He's 65, so, he's getting up there. Oh, look, I mean, yeah, it's similar to like what is it? The characters from Dragon Ball Z, like usually the ones that like in later episodes would just be standing around like looking terrified. Like, I love DBZ, and honestly, some of the best parts of that show are just the reaction shots. You have the fight taking place up in the sky. These two titans of unimaginable power just like smashing against each other like sparks in a furnace. Meanwhile, everyone's down on the ground just like in stunned silence, just staring up at this blur of like fire and electricity, just like going, it's impossible. It's just, I find that very relatable as well. There's something about DBZ that still gets me to this day. Like, I can't watch it now because I just sort of I tapped out after the Boo saga, but yeah. I love the fact that they've basically went back to the drawing board with Street Fighter and gotten everything as right as they can. Like, they even, like, I think the best part of the original, like, 90s Street Fighter movie, hands down, Raul Julia playing Bison. Absolute legend. He took the role when he was, dying of stomach cancer, and he essentially had young kids at the time, and he took that role because he wanted something for his children to remember him. The movie was an absolute box office dump. It fell very flat, and it was his last movie. But he gave such a good performance. Like that monologue he gave to the girl playing Chun-Li, you know, when M. Bison came to your village, it was like the greatest day of your life. For me, it was Tuesday. Oh, man, that hits different. Because, like, I didn't realize it. Like, when I first saw that movie as a kid, like, I didn't realize what was going on. I just thought, why does the guy that played Gomez Adams look so skinny and sick? And it turns out, yeah, he was actually, you know, terminal. But yeah, it's honestly his best work, and it was just put into a movie that just kind of sucked. I mean, it's become a cult classic since then, and they did their best with what they had. But this new Street Fighter movie looks incredible. It just does. Like the whole trailer just got me like really hyped. They've got that, you know, the scene in the original game where you get to beat up the car. They've got that. I love that. They've got Jason Momoa as Blanca. Blanca has a beard for some reason, but yeah. You know, I think if they need a big, hairy, muscly dude with, like, you know, long, sort of matted dreadlocks and stuff, Jason Momoa is kind of their go-to guy. And they've got, like, Cody Rhodes is playing Guile in this new one. And that is correct casting. They even got, like, his blonde flat top. So cool. Like, in the Jean-Claude Van Damme one, like, he does have a flat top, but it's very understated. He just looks like a regular military guy. And for some reason they had Kylie Minogue as Cammy. And again, very good casting choice. She looked the part, but she didn't look the part. It's like even back then, when we were first starting to get these live action adaptations of video games, we I guess we just didn't realize that what we really wanted was just make it look like the game. That's all we want. And it's taken, like, you know, the better part of 30 years for them finally to get it. You know, it's why it's like the first appearance of Deadpool in the X-Men movies, like the X-Men Origins Wolverine, just did not work. And obviously they make fun of that characterization in the later Deadpool movies, but yeah. Yeah, I mean, oh, look, if you need to check out the Street Fighter trailer, like if you're a fan of the game, then like you will be honestly impressed by the level of detail and love that they're put into this. It's got Akuma in it. They've got a guy playing at he's also got a beard and mustache, so it's not like 100% accurate, but it's close. It is very, very good. And yeah, I think the more of this kind of just make it look like we want it to look like, because we want it to look like the games. I think video game movies as a genre has matured to a point where it will eventually eclipse comic book movies. Unless it already has, there just doesn't seem to be that kind of level of hype around this new Marvel movie in the same way that like previous versions of it. I mean, I could be wrong. It might end up like really, really sort of word of mouth will push it over into the mainstream in a way that advertising just can never really contend with. But at the same time, we're getting Legend of Zelda and Mario and Sonic the Hedgehog. Oh yeah, Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat, man. Yeah. Love that. Love that game. And that movie, oh my god. Like that was the first time that, in my opinion, they got everything right and the spirit was willing, but the flesh was weak or something like that. Like I don't know how that phrase goes, but it's like they almost had it. Oh, it was so close. And yeah, the guy that played Shang Tsung, he died recently. He's in his 70s. Japanese actor. Carrie something. Kari Haruki Tagawa. Yeah, 1950 to 2025. He was an actual legend. And he had the best face. Like this dude, seriously. Like, how good is that face? Legendary actor. That's like, you know how you mentioned earlier that I should draw some like famous people caricatures? I just realised my drawing signs in the background. Oh, dude, like those 90s video game movies, like even the old like Mario Brothers movie where it had Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo as Mario and Luigi, and for some reason Dennis Hopper was supposed to be King Koopa, aka Bowser, and he's this weird, highly evolved T-Rex that's also Donald Trump for some reason. That movie is so bizarre and so fascinating that it just, by its very nature, is a perfect cult classic. I love that movie. It's just so weird. And the thing is, it to this day, it still gets hate, you know? And it's honestly hate that it doesn't deserve. Yes. Yeah. And they had what's his name in the Mortal Kombat movie, they had Christopher Lambert or Lambert as Raiden, and he's so good because the entire cast is just having so much fun with this movie. They're enjoying every minute of it. And the music, oh my god, that Mortal Kombat song, Test Your Might. That is forever etched in my brain as like that is like the ringtone that I want played at my funeral. That is how much I love that song. Okay, maybe that's a little extreme, but you get what I'm saying. Because like that cool voice, like he lists out all the characters. It's like Liu Kang, Johnny Cage, Sonya Blade, Mortal Kombat. Love it, love it. Chef's kiss, no notes, love it. It's like when I explained to my children what it was like growing up in the 80s and 90s, I already have like plenty of examples to show them because I have a feeling that we'll be living through that decade basically forever. Oh, look. And even like the animatronic Goro. Oh, I love that. Like it combined elements of RoboCop and like that really early janky looking CGI. You know when the those are like 90s movies where the CGI is so like obviously CGI that it can't be anything else. Even that has its own sort of like campiness to it that can't really be like replicated today. Like I mentioned earlier, I was playing the original Command and Conquer, like with Kane and the Brotherhood of Nod and the Global Defense Initiative, and just looking at how primitive the CGI was in that. Oh my god. And this is back during a time where we thought that going on the internet meant like entering the computer itself. You know what I mean? Like there'd be like a VR headset, and we'd be sitting back in like a special chair, and it would like sort of move around, and we'd have like these two like controllers, and it would be similar to like Star Wars or whatever, and being a TIE fighter pilot, and yeah, and we sort of had this sort of weird idea that like going online would be similar to that, but it just it never panned out that way. Like even now, when you've got like what's it called? Like now that VR is actually decent, and you got like even this weird team up where you got Ray-Ban sunglasses with like these little like spy cameras embedded in the frames, and you can enter a world of virtual reality by like blinking. Even then, like it's not as impressive as we wanted it to be. We really wanted it to be back in the 90s. That just never panned out that way. And I kind of miss that sort of naive innocence that we had about like what the internet was going to be like. It just never it never happened. Oh, look, if there's one thing I can absolutely agree on is CGI when it shows up in anime it just takes me out of the whole experience. Like there's something about seeing like CGI in anime. Like, why is this so ugly looking? Why is this so jarring to watch? It's a very it's like you see this sort of beautifully hand drawn, like very, well made, crafted like animation that looks like it's, several thousand hours have gone into it. You can tell that there's a Japanese guy who's asleep at 4 a.m. at his workstation, and he will wake up in 2 hours to go straight back to, drawing each, like, frame one by one. And then seeing CGI showing up next to it, that makes me just think, okay, they need to fire somebody. That is so ugly. Like, the only time when CGI mixed with anime really makes sense on any sort of like storytelling level is when it's in a video game based on said anime. Otherwise, just don't. Just please don't put any of that in the show itself. Oh man, it's getting late. It is. Oh, it's just gone 1:30 in the morning. Anywho, guys, I just want to thank everyone who tuned in, even if you just like breezed past and just sort of lurked in the background and stuff. Mate, thanks again for keeping me company tonight. I'm gonna call it in there because yeah, Boxing Day. That's another chill out day anyway, so I could probably do another live stream if I'm so inclined. But yeah, until then, I'm just gonna call it in, and I will see you guys when I see you guys. See ya.